Dear friend, dear patriot, thank you so much for joining us tonight on this. Here in New York City, it's just dark, and well, it's dark, of course, but it's just raining and windy, and it's just absolutely beautiful. The sexiest of storms today. Oh, God, it was great. It was great to be alive and great to be inside. Thank you so much for spending your time with us this eve. This means more than you can imagine. I thank you so very much for being a part of this and being a part of what we are doing here. Because remember, what I'm trying to do is, and what the goal of this theoretically, what I'm trying above all, more than anything else, what I'm trying to do is to give you something a little bit different, a little different. It's a showcase how mainstream media basically wants you kind of frozen. This is different. This is news based on what citizen journalists and independent thinkers and foreign press and patriot observers are really thinking. That's all it is. It's just a new way of looking at the world. That's all. Not this ridiculousness, not this cable news jazz, but something a little different with a bit of a punch to it. That's all. Nothing special. Nothing. But once you listen to me, you will say, "Ah, yes, I understand exactly." Do you understand what I'm saying? Good. Tonight, my friends, let's jump into this right off the bat. The radical left is imploding, and Trump's America First agenda is steamrolling the deep state. Now, let me explain something to you, which is very, very critical, very, very interesting. The folks that are planning, and let me get my information here, the folks that are planning to destroy everything, thank you, my darling. The folks, the folks that are trying to plan everything, or ruin everything, are going to be hitting tomorrow with the 50-51 program tomorrow. Did you hear about this? They're going to be coming out of the woodwork, as it were, to try and destroy President's Day because they have to do something. The George Soros crowds and those are being asked, do something. And they're doing everything that they can. And nothing seems to work. So what tomorrow is going to be is very, very interesting. And this is most fascinating. It's going to be this event called the 50-51 plan. And what this is, let me see it right here. Bring this to your attention. It's a 50-501 movement, which stands for 50 states, 50 protests, 50 states, one movement. And it basically is going to be an attempt on the part of everyone to show the whole world that somehow the world or we or whatever is all collapsing. It's the most ridiculous thing anybody's ever even heard of or seen. But that's going on tomorrow. And the reason for it is very, very simple. They have nothing. These people, I'm going to say this repeatedly, so please let me beg your forgiveness ahead of time. They're going to be, in essence, doing anything in their power to do something. Just something. They're going to do everything to just try and respond. Because people are looking at them and saying, well, what are you going to do? I don't know. Nobody seems to know. Nobody seems to grasp what's happening. This is something which is so fascinating. And again, it sounds like I'm not saying anything that's not really critically important. It's the gravamen of what we're talking about. The president is coming at them. They're talking about auditing Fort Knox. It's left and right like nobody ever saw. Everything. Even Caitlin Collins or whatever, she put something up and they're jumping on her. They're saying, what's going on here? I knew President Trump would do well. I knew he would do well. I knew that, things would be better. I knew that, but I never knew it would be this fast, this brutal, and this incredible. I never, ever thought it would be like that. I've got loads of stories today for your perusal and review that I'm going to review with you. But tomorrow, this is what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to protest. And it's going to be one of the saddest events ever. By the way, I hope you're subscribed to my newsletter. I've got one coming up. I'm going to do one later on tonight for you to kind of be ahead of the game, as it were. This is just beyond incredible. Now, jumping into this, there's so much good stuff here. Let me see. First, as you know, the fake resistance. I put together a veritable compendium of stories for you. The fake resistance, and what the attempt of the movement is back, and they're trying everything in their power to try to convey to you that somehow this is their response to Trump taking away democracy, but it's not working. The folks are saying, what democracy? Things are better. No, there's no democracy. What are you talking about? Well, they're going to take away our rights. Women, have you noticed your rights taken away? Has anybody noticed anything? No. It's the most incredible thing in the world. Leftist agitators are throwing a tantrum over losing an election. They still don't get it. So as I mentioned, the 5501 movement is going to take to the streets on President's Day tomorrow, claiming to write or to address authoritarianism. And nobody understands what that is. But in reality, they're just Biden's bitter leftovers are upset over the fact that they lost an election. These people can't accept the fact that America rejected their failures. And while they scream about saving democracy, whatever that means, they still can't explain to you what it is that they mean. They conveniently forget the fact that the FBI colluded with big tech, the Biden administration censoring free speech, the weaponization of the DOJ, and that's why I've got to say something again. If I hear one more person say how brave and how great these prosecutors were who stepped down because of the fraud that is DOJ, excuse me, where have you been? Where have they been throughout the entire period of lawfare? It's incredible. America sees through this nonsense. You see through it. You know, this is ridiculous. This isn't some resistance. It's a pathetic attempt to stay relevant. They don't have it. They don't have it. And you're watching this. You have a front row seat to this. It's beautiful. Next, they're targeting AOC. Do not be surprised if all of a sudden one day she is charged or brought up on some type of charges. She is not immune from prosecution merely because she's a congressperson, so long as she is not making this particular statement on the floor of the House. That she has immunity from any kind of libel or laws or the like, or really pretty much anything. That's the only time. And Tom Homan is slamming her. Tom Homan, this no nonsense. This borders are. And the man that Democrats fear most took AOC to task over her, again, her disgraceful attempt to help illegal aliens dodge ICE raids. As you know, AOC hosted a, quote, Know Your Rights webinar, basically instructing illegal aliens how to avoid deportation. This is a move that is nothing short of obstruction. So Tom Homan fired back, he said, telling her he thought he educated her years ago, but apparently she didn't learn a thing. So he's like, nah. Remember that famous piece where they were in Congress and they were doing this riposte, this back and forth. It was beautiful. So the radical left continues to prioritize, again, criminals over American families. Another example of their disdain for law and order. And to show you what a lot of Democrats who are pretty wise, what they're saying is, why are you doing this now? Why in the name of God are you doing this now when we're losing everywhere? Our good friend Thomas Almy says, ballyhoo, Lionel Nation, your insights are inspiring. Thank you so much for that. Marcus Aurelius says some of the funniest lunacy is coming out of Chuck Schumer, or Chuck Schemer, a.k.a. Anthony Weiner's decades-long mentor. Birds of a feather? We shall see, my friend. He has to absolutely watch it. Let's get an idea of what's going on. Remember, this is what they're saying. They're asking AOC, what are you doing? What are you doing? The lies keep coming out of the sanctuary city disaster zone known as New York City. Well, actually, the mayor's office. Eric Adams allegedly tried to claim that federal officials, including Homan, had struck a deal to go soft on illegal aliens in exchange for migrant concessions. Not a chance. Homan blasted the claim as ridiculous, exposing yet another leftist attempt to spin a lie, another narrative. Democrats create these crises, blame conservatives, and then beg for federal bailouts. It's just incredible. And let me tell you something, Eric Adams better watch it, because they are going to dismiss this case of his without prejudice, meaning they can bring it again. This is just unbelievable. Did you hear the latest one too? Trump and Musk are laughing off the story about there being a rift in yet another pathetic attempt to drive a wedge between Trump and Elon Musk. The radical left media invented a narrative that the two were somehow feuding. Spoiler alert, they're not. The two were having a huge laugh at the press for their absurd reporting. The radical left, let me say this again, is terrified of their combined influence. You know that, whether it's Trump restoring American sovereignty or Musk obliterating woke big tech censorship, when two of the most powerful men in the world, on the planet, lock horns, lock arms, and mock the media to their faces, you know the gig's up. Think about this. They don't know. They've got nothing. So tomorrow they're going to have this 5501. What? It's ridiculous. And then there's this incredible, the shakeups keep coming and coming and coming. Trump's VA fires over, listen to this, 1,000 useless bureaucrats. This, call it Doge, call it MAGA, call it Trump. Trump's Drain the Swamp campaign, remember that, just fired over 1,000 employees of the VA, many of whom were deadweight bureaucrats standing in the way of helping actual veterans. And the VA has been a bloated mess for decades under Democrats who used it as a jobs program for political cronies, for favors. Well, not anymore. Not anymore. Under Trump, it's America first. Veterans get priority, not bureaucrats. Are you seeing this? Are you catching this? Are you following this? Do you feel, as I do, like finally there's some rational thought? Do you feel this? Do you feel it? I do. I absolutely, positively feel that finally there's some semblance of reality. But first this. My friend, disaster doesn't knock. It kicks the door down when you least expect it. And when it hits the fan, and trust me, it will, food is the first thing to disappear. Now the question is this. Will you be prepared, or will you be scrambling like everybody else? Okay? Now think about what I'm saying. This is no exaggeration. I'm here to help. I'm here to give you the honest truth. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to help you. No one's going to be there. The shelves at your local store are going to be emptied within hours. And trucks that should be delivering food will be stuck miles away. You'll be left standing in endless lines, hoping for scraps. But there's something you can do right now. There's a way to stop this nightmare before it stops. Head to preparewithlionel.com. You heard me, preparewithlionel.com. And take advantage of the special monthly offer from My Patriot Supply. Now you can get $50 off the legendary 4-week emergency food kit when you order today. Listen, I can't be any more serious than this. Why My Patriot Supply? Simple. It's a household name for a reason. Millions of families trust them because their kits aren't just about survival. They're about thriving when others are barely holding on. This kit provides over 2,000 calories a day and 12 essential vitamins and minerals. That's the fuel that you're going to need when your body and mind are under incredible pressure. You get meals that taste great, are American made, and last up to 25 years in storage. These aren't bland bunker meals. They're designed to keep you strong and focused when it matters most. But here's the deal, my friend, and listen carefully. Emergencies don't wait, and neither should you. Prepare today or pay tomorrow. Go to preparewithlionel.com now and claim your $50 discount and 6 free bonuses right now before this limited time offer vanishes. I can't emphasize this enough, okay? Because when the world goes dark, preparation is the only light you can count on. Indeed, my friend, indeed. I hope that you're grasping the sense of excitement and exhilaration that I'm feeling over what's happening regarding the president. I mean, I knew things would be better, but I never knew they would be this good, this fast, this brutal. Did you hear this one? This liberal senator humiliated over the Trump family parody account. A left-wing senator made a complete fool of himself. I know it's hard to believe. Laughing out at what he thought was a real Trump family account, only to later realize he got played by a parody. In true liberal fashion, he doubled down, dropping F-bombs and melting down on social media. This is the modern Democratic Party, completely unhinged, unable to tell fact from fiction, and obsessed, my friend, with Trump 24/7. We'll get to that later. How about this one? Rand Paul. Once, and how many times have we said this? Once, a Fort Knox gold audit. We have been asking about this forever. A Fort Knox gold audit. What is in it? Is the gold present? Is it hypothecated? Meaning, is it pledged for other countries or other uses? Senator Rand Paul has thrown his full support behind an actual audit of America's gold reserves, something that hasn't been done since, I think, 1974. With President Trump's backing, the plan is gaining traction, and for good reason. The American people deserve to know if our gold reserves are being mismanaged, devalued, or worse, compromised by globalist elites. Is the gold even there? Is there gold in them thar vaults? The radical left is absolutely sweating. Do you understand this? And MSDNCs, oh my God. Did you see this? This is the most incredible thing in the world. I don't know how to even say anymore. There's MSDNC, CNN. It's horrible. It's horrid. Let me see what else they say. California's embattled Governor Gavin Newsom confirmed that he will veto a bill allowing state prisons to work with ICE. He's going to veto a bill banning it to deport violent criminal illegal aliens. Think about that. The man who basically, he is completely capitulated. This man is actually protecting felons from deportation. This is the thing which is, again, beyond anything that we have seen so far. You know, my friends, one of the problems that we've had, and I've had so far in dealing with this, is that maybe you've had these folks. I look at my friends, a couple of friends of mine who for years hated Trump beyond any and all rational thought. And they never really told me why. What was it? What was the reason why? What was the reason? What was the thing? Why did they hate Trump? What? And they really couldn't tell you. And you ask them, well, what did you believe? What do you believe instead? Well, they can't tell you. Well, what is it that they couldn't tell you? And like I said, they've pretty much gone away. Tomorrow's going to be Monday. Tomorrow's going to be what, the 27th day or so? I mean, think, or 28th day. Think about what's happened. They don't know what to do. Did any of you ever think it would happen this fast? Did any of you think it would be this fast, this brutal, this monumental? I've never seen anything. I never thought it would be anything like this. Never. And I never thought, what's even more important, I never thought that people would be, how do I say this? I never thought that people would be just taken aback that there is no, CNN doesn't know what to do. MSDNC doesn't, nobody knows what to do. And to an extent, if you notice, even Fox doesn't know what to do. They can't keep track of all that is occurring because nobody's used to this. It's like the old, drinking from a fire hose. It is beyond anything I have seen. And I keep thinking to myself, are they going to, Saturday night, it's coming Saturday, I'll be at the cutting room. We're putting together our little gift bags. We have our little gift, our little tokens of our esteem for those lucky people who will be appearing there, showing up on the 22nd. And I remember the last time I was there, and it was right before the election. And we didn't really want to, how did we say this? We didn't really want to say specifically what it was that we were fearing. You know what I mean? We thought, we're going to make it. It's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Yeah, we're going to do fine. Yeah, that's it. It's going to be great. It's going to be just terrific. And we really didn't know. Weren't really sure what was going on. In fact, let me check something right here. And what was the most amazing then was I and you felt a certain degree of, I couldn't bring myself to thinking, how will we get by if she wins? Now, I know nobody wants to think about this, but how is it that we were going to get by in the event that she won? And people said, well, and I couldn't get past that. I couldn't get past that thought. What would happen if she won? And this is where we were last time. It's absolutely unbelievable. Captivation, Lionel, captivation. Don't know what that means, but thank you very much. Appreciate that. Don't know what that means, but thank you. I appreciate it. And I kept thinking to myself, there is a way that the country will still survive, but I couldn't imagine seeing her. I couldn't imagine her. I thought this could, did you find yourself thinking, I can't imagine it. But in the back of my mind is but it could happen, but it can happen. And I wasn't saying I was afraid because I knew intuitively, well, that was the last cutting room. Now it's after the fact. And this one is going to be a sense of, I can't even keep track of what he's doing. I can't keep track of what he's doing. Wait till Bobby Kennedy gets loose. I mean, think about this. Tulsi Gabbard can't wait. Pam Bondi can't wait. Bobby can't wait. Kash Patel, I know they're waiting for him. He can't wait. Pete Hegseth, I was reading today again what he and what J.D. Vance said at the Munich conference was unbelievable. I'm going to be sending something out in the newsletter with that one. You can't miss that one. It was really that good. Unbelievable. And what was interesting also is the guy who doesn't know what's going on is Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan doesn't understand anything that's going on. It's the weirdest thing. He doesn't understand Russia. He doesn't understand anything. Nobody understands it. Nobody understands Trump with, do you understand Trump with Israel? And making the Riviera out of the what? Nobody even gets that one. But let me go back to what I was saying. He doesn't understand what Trump is doing, what Putin is doing, and how people are working together on this one. He doesn't know what to say. He was on with John Mearsheimer, and I thought, dear God, why are you doing this? And you could tell he didn't understand. This is bigger than anything I even thought. Zelensky, if they don't, well, I don't want to predict bad things. I don't want to be in that position because it sounds ghoulish. But if I really would double down on the security if I were him. I should say. Therese says, how to get through this is by observing and not absorbing. Don't know what that means, but that's good. Soul76 says, DJT won in a landslide because of a constitutional crisis. Now the mainstream media, have a problem with the restoration of the Constitution. It's not even that. I'll explain. Brad Rung said, him losing in 2020 was the best thing that ever happened, and I'm sure the Dems wish they did not cheat. If he won, none of this would be exposed. Thank you. So, the mainstream media do not care about the restoration of the Constitution. They have no idea. Johnny Mazda Spaz says, how's Caitlin Collins working out for CNN? Not very well. Edie says, since Bobby the K is in, do you think he can help take down Tony Fauci? Now, he can do better than the book. Now, yes. Let me see if I can explain. First, a million questions. Great questions. Number one, let me go back to this. The mainstream media do not care about the Constitution. Stop this. They have no idea. This is a business model. I've told you this a million times, and I'm going to say it for the millionth time. And you're going to say to yourself, oh, no, not the disco thing. Yes, they don't know that disco is over. Tom Almy said, Trump has the world captivated. They are paralyzed. It's true, especially when Macron is having that special meeting he's calling that emergency meeting. Going back to your incredible point, there is absolutely nothing that the mainstream media care about the Constitution. It's like disco being over. They don't understand it's done. And they say, what are they going to do? I've got friends of mine, people I know in the business on the bigger levels, and they're wondering, I think is ABC still moving to the, they're moving to the Hudson Yards area from Times Square, and people are thinking, and they're consolidating, and they're wondering, how long is this going to be? What is the long-term projection of this? What? Numbers are cascading. They're colliding. You're going to see numbers like Rogan go up. You're going to see you're going to see the power. YouTube is going to explode like no one's business. Believe me. And don't let the fact that there might be some problems with your algorithms during super chats. Have you noticed what is being done or what is being said? There is a degree of, I don't want to say laxness, but a degree of freedom, dare I say, to this. Something that's, so that's number one. They don't know what to do. They really don't. Rachel Maddow, they're telling her agents, telling her, other people are telling her, they're saying, we don't know where this goes. Once this goes, let me give you an example. MSDNC, what happens to her? She's made her money. But if she really wants to be viable, where do these people go? What are they going to do? What? It just moves down into, because not only is the medium itself and the particular platform not interesting or not pleasant or not wanted, what's even more interesting and more strange, if you think about this, is something else. The message. What is the message? Tell me right now. Before they said Trump is going to destroy women's rights. Remember that one? Have you heard anything Think about this. Anything from anyone, even talking about abortion, ever. Have you? Have you? What about LGBTQ? Trans? Oh, yeah. Military? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kids in school? Oh, yeah. Yeah. DEI? Oh, yeah. Gone, dead, finished, through. Oh, yes, 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 yes. What about women's rights? Nothing. Nothing. You mentioned Fauci. They're going to, by virtue of the, what was his name, Bove or whatever, the assistant attorney general, who walked in and said, you were going to drop these charges against Eric Adams. You work for me. If you don't like it, leave. And they left. Good, leave. Which they were going to leave anyway and whatever it was. They're also going to go in and say, I want everybody right now to go after Tony Fauci. Now, I'm supposedly not to say that, right? It's not a good thing for me to tell you, go after, to target, prosecute. But I want to give you a few ideas. Has he said anything in the past, in recent history, which could in any way be construed as the continuation of, because remember, his federal, any and all pardons were up to January 20th. It stops right there. So if you can show that there was a continuation of a conspiracy, novation or whatever, if that can be done, that changes everything. Yes or no? That's number one. Number two, can you show that any of his extracurricular, again, outside of the 20th? Absolutely. Is there new evidence now? Remember, conspiracies keep going on and on and on. If I was involved in a criminal conspiracy before, and I was pardoned on the 20th of January, up until that day, and that conspiracy is still going, it's new. For example, let's assume I was involved in this is the year 1963, and I'm involved in the JFK conspiracy. Okay, 1963. 64, there's the end of the, or whatever it is. Well, not even 64, because it'd be before that. It'd be 1963 when Johnson comes in. But anyway, let's just assume that whatever it was, if that conspiracy continues on, if there's new life, new breath, new activity, a novation, so to speak, then whatever you told me before in terms of my particular pardons don't apply. Sol says mainstream media, are recycling the old constitutional crisis talking point from the first Trump administration, a pathetic and predictable marching orders. Absolutely. Nobody knows what that means. Nobody knows what that means. Had Donald Trump won in 2020, I agree with you 100%. Hillary Clinton could have won in 2016 had they wanted to throw it her way, but they didn't. All of this information that we have right now, all of it is coming forward. Now let's go back. You got the DOJ. I want to see Mark Milley lose a star or two or three. Wouldn't that be great? Bring him back, lose a star. What he did, think that's impossible? They have to do something drastic. During World War II, George C. Marshall fired more people than, during that, Terry Allen, remember terrible Terry Allen? Some of the greatest generals, he fired them and brought them back. Firing and demoting, it's the only way to encourage fine performance. The number of how do I say this? The number of generals who were fired in Vietnam were next to none. So when you see heads start to flop, so to speak, when you see AOC investigated charged with aiding and abetting for you to say this, and you got to be very careful with this, because remember, there was the anarchist cookbook case where it was an instruction book on how to make certain bombs and the like. And the issue was, this was protected speech. Andrew Hessing says, where do these people get the time to protest? We'll see. We'll see. Who's going to watch it? There's nothing there. Have you noticed even the Palestinian protests are gone? It's all gone. There's just no, everybody's kind of happy. People aren't. But AOC, if she's telling people, here's how you can break the law now, do you know what that would do in terms of getting the point across? It would be something bigger than anything you could imagine. Absolutely, positively bigger than anything you could imagine. It's that simple. So, my friends, I guess what I'm telling you is that as I peruse the news, I am absolutely, positively overwhelmed with the speed, with the incredible, the celerity, which of course is redundant, with what this president is doing. I can't believe what it is, the greatest thing ever. And we haven't seen anything yet. And you haven't seen what he's going to do to the Department of Education. What Linda McMahon's going to do. He's going to destroy. It's over with. He is going to leave, and Washington is going to be a ghost town. Thousands of people, part of the actual deep state, removed. And he's got to get rid of this executive services or whatever, this SES or executive that I think Jimmy Carter started, this kind of a civil service, not so much for hardworking people, but Washington is a ghost town anyway. And it's been like that since COVID. 6% of the people that showed up. It's the most, if you can destroy the lock, the Bezor that is Washington, forget it. It's the greatest thing ever. It's absolutely the most important thing in the world. So, my friends, be happy tonight. Is anyone interested in watching the 50th anniversary of the SNL thing? I've got it on record. I think it's interesting because it was a part of my life, and I was there when it first started, and I thought it was kind of interesting, and yeah, it was kind of neat. But then again, the other part of me says that I don't like to do anything that people like to celebrate. If a lot of people are celebrating it, I don't want to do it. If a lot of people are doing it, I don't want to do it, except voting for President Trump. So we will see what happens, my friend. I'll record and see what happens. Andrew Hessing, Soul 76, Thomas Almy, Edie Crowley, Johnny Mathis Bad, Brad Rung, Soul 76, Therese Pollard, thank you so much. Marcus Aurelius, thank you so very much. Make sure you follow Mrs. L. Warren Acasio. Warren, thank you, brother. I just did a brand new one today with our good friend Sean Atwood in the UK on a lot of good legal stuff. Not so much Diddy, but just some really good stuff. They really like it. So anyway, that is posted on the Lionel Nation show. So follow Lynn's Warriors, Lionel Legal, and Lionel Nation. All right, dear friends. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm going to wish you the best. Have a great and a glorious eve this eve. And until tomorrow, reminding you, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Da-da.